So I got to build the audience and go.
Hey, Mahika 95.9 FM. Nueve Cinco dot Nueve. The Wayne and Carter Show. No responsibility for those idiots. All responsibility.
We'll talk impeachment. Vaccines are being wasted. Italy in crisis mode. Trump losing contracts in New York City. All that and more coming up on today's Wayne and Carter Show.
With J-Dub. You want some shades?
Not yet.
I could be doing this show with Ronnie Millsap.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ash. I'm very well. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're doing well.
Thanks, and thanks to all the listeners for having me. Thank you.
You didn't win an award.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Let's do this.
Hey, the Wayne and Carter Weather brought to you by our great friends at Deerland Feed. I've never been more excited about a sponsor than Deerland Feed. The folks are super friendly. It's a family-owned business. They just have everything. It's just a fun place to go. I took the boys down there, and they're like, they got chickens. I'm like, they got chickens. They've got feed. They've got seeds.
Ducks,
they've got ducks. They've got hay. You drive and go, hey, and they just go over and put it in your car. You always see somebody you know there. There are a lot of like gentleman ranchers in our area.
They have great hay, too.
Great hay. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. It's 39 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 73. It's just going to be a gorgeous day. A day can be brisk, cold, dare I say nipply, and still be a beautiful day. Take a sweater and get out and enjoy this day. Walk, enjoy the sunshine. Very low humidity. It's cool. And we pushed the weather off. Remember earlier in the week, Ash and I told you we were looking at rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you kind of bemoaned, yeah, figures. And they pushed that back to 40% chance starting Tuesday.
We'll take that.
So, yep, should be a beautiful weekend to enjoy here in Impeachmentville.
Terry Murray, first one in. You know what? Terry will reach out. We'll get you a Wade and Carter t-shirt for you being so diligent to be the first one in this morning.
Right. That's awesome.
The Iceman is in. Chris Conrad, good morning.
Howdy.
Judge Posey, Jeremy
Judge.
Pena, Richard King, Madeline Mayer. I'm not dressed as a comrade.
He's still in his late night diamond spree thievery gear. By the way, we have got some beautiful swaggetry. Some gear from compadres. I picked up some caps just the other day at a hometown football game my wife and I ran into.
Nice.
My old high school flame. I picked up some caps, and they're just spectacular. Compadres Design uses a Richardson as the brand, and it's like in the world of gimme caps, it's the Cadillac of gimme caps. Richardson makes a fine snapback
good cap.
Fantastic. And our logo, I haven't even shown you these.
No,
I'm hoarding them.
you are hoarding.
Well, I've got another website. I sell them, on the side, and I don't tell you about it. But there's one that's like a baby blue, dare I say, love you, Oiler blue, and it's got the logo on it. It's hot.
Nice.
Pops. Yeah, wait till you see it.
Karen Webb, good morning. Scott
Karen
Tomko, Bobby Leister says we're at 692 on the Leisterometer. Randy Langston, good morning.
Good
BJ
morning.
Nelson. She wants to know if we're going to start with politics or sports. Inquiring minds want to know. Give us a second. We'll get the rundown here.
Isn't politics almost like sports
Yeah.
right now? People jockeying for position.
Tammy Williams, Daniel White, good morning.
Coming around turn 3.
Scott Tomko, David Brocker, Justin Glass, Andy Ria Jr., Diane Tippett, good morning.
It's the pink all-electric Democrat Ford,
Marvin Mickish, Richard King,
followed by the number 24 DuPont Chevy Monte Carlo.
Jeffrey Fonseca checking in. So let's start with impeachment, because to me, this is the biggest waste of time when you consider everything else that's going on.
I've heard it said that the reason that the Dems are doing this is not to record. They're trying to cancel Donald Trump. They're trying to shame Donald Trump to beyond. He's worse than Dick Nixon. That's kind of the angle, which is a joke. It's a joke. And then you turn around and apparently the end game goal is that Donald Trump would be precluded from running for president again in 2024.
Yeah.
I told you coming in, I think that they protest too much. The Dems had a perfect opportunity to ignore, to actually practice what they preach, right? Hey, there's lots of things we can do to this president, but he's done enough to himself. We're going to ignore him and let him slink off into the sunset as we move forward with this great nation, as we heal this country. We're going to start by healing our relationship with those on the other side of the aisle. We're not going to pursue your president. We're going to welcome you back to America. But no, the Democrats are hell-bent on shaming Donald Trump. And I told Ash, I fear they are going to create a political martyr. They're going to create a martyr that makes people go, that was dumb. Why did we spend $10 million trying to put a guy in jail who is already leaving? He's gone. In your goal of impeachment to get him out of office?
Well, and you had, their goal is to keep him from getting back in office, obviously.
Well, they must plan on really being successful in this term under Joe Biden and Comrade Kamala.
And they had, 8 Republicans join in on the vote yesterday.
I thought it was 6, but it's 6 Republicans that won't be getting reelected.
Probably not. Well, I'll be honest. Liz Cheney probably will be reelected in Wyoming because the Cheney roots
I think we ought to go ahead and go and impeach her dad again. I guarantee you.
He ain't running for anything.
Dick Cheney committed more acts of commission than Donald Trump did when it comes to being a bad guy.
But you look at some of the states, Michigan, New York, Illinois.
Why are they so angry?
All the states that, swing states, a lot of blue states, they're just trying to hold on to their jobs and appeal to the other side so that they could get some moderate votes in 2 years when they're up for re-election. So
James Kerr says 10 GOP folks voted yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Go
that
back up. We had some good
there's some
comments there.
politics going on.
More. I want to see what T-Lad said too. P-Lad, what? Yeah, I saw that there is a Republican representative saying, Randy Langston, that she's getting her paperwork together to impeach, to introduce articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. Something about the Longhorns is right about T-Lat. As soon as the election is over, or as soon as he's inaugurated, and like Ash said, well, it won't be picked up by Congress. No, but he'll still be, impeached. T-Lad says, yeah, they talk about healing, but nothing there. There is no healing. And we're reaching a point. You've heard us say it here, and you've heard other people smarter than us call in and say, hey, the two-party system isn't working. The Republicans are effectively done. I'd love to get Alan West on and say, Alan, between us as friends who are here, and he's a solid gentleman that'll shoot you as straight as he can. Alan, is the Republican Party as we know it done? Can it survive this? Do we want it to survive this?
I did a lot of reading on this last night, watched some stuff,
You were drinking beer and watching hockey.
before and after. Before and after.
Okay. We did
watch
hockey.
We did our hockey draft for our fantasy hockey draft last night
to
too.
imbibe as you read.
No, I take a break.
In the living room by yourself, go, hey, damn right. You do
I don't
that?
argue with myself. I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk, and I'm not that drunk.
Right. You're not that guy.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You got it.
No, you text me.
Yeah.
And the text starts off something like, "You're wrong." I'm like, I didn't even know we were talking. You're wrong. Don't forget the iPad. That's what I get from you.
Wow, you got one job.
That's right.
But we're getting to a point where, I mean, some people, and smarter than me in the Constitution say this is unconstitutional for one. But you would think with and enough opinion pieces in reputable places like the Wall Street Journal with attorneys who have a lot of experience, you would think with all the attorneys that we've elected to Congress to serve us, they would understand that there's no basis for this.
It's about how they feel.
And
facts don't matter.
No.
It's about how they feel and how they can make you feel. Biden's going to be impeached for something during his term. And you know what? I hate that. I hate that. I think it completely undermines. When Bill Clinton was impeached, it was a huge deal.
Yet it was still a joke.
Yeah, of course it was a joke. And it's been retribution ever since. They're fighting each other, retaliation ever since. That's what it's been.
And you're going to end up, in 2 years, and this will be the downfall of the Republicans in 2 years after that.
Right.
Because the way the down ballot elections went, I'm pretty confident that the House and probably even the Senate will swing back to Republican control, because this country is going to be fed up with the lack of direction in some ways and the direction we're going in others under a Biden-Harris administration. So when that happens, then the Republicans will just watch and just sit back in 2 years, because this is I'm convinced this is how it's going to play out. Then in 2 years, Republicans in the House with control of the Senate will impeach Joe Biden for the Ukraine stuff, which is probably more legit than anything. If you're going to impeach Donald Trump on a quid pro quo, you've got it here. Except they'll be able to take it a step further, because they'll have the control of the Senate, and they will actually impeach him and remove him from office if the Dems don't do an end around somehow and get him out of there before that.
Well, yeah, because I think he'll be gone. I still say 1 year tops is how long Joe Biden.
But if they're going to impeach Donald Trump after he's out of office with a hearing in the Senate, they could probably do the same in 2 years to Joe Biden for no other reason other than, you did it to us, we're going to do it to you.
Yeah, and then there'll be no reason for them to actually do it, because he'll resign, citing health issues between now and the time that the Republicans take over the Senate.
I mean, the high crimes and misdemeanors bar has been lowered. Oh, it's no longer high crime. It's low crimes and absolutely nothing.
It's rumors and innuendo. It's not even fact-based anymore. It's just, there's enough smoke there. Donald Trump peed on somebody in Russia. Oh, well, it didn't really happen, but who cares?
But who cares?
It didn't happen.
Well, we have a paper that we paid millions for, so we're going to use it and say it's enough evidence to,
Hillary Clinton.
So, and that's how petty our politics is going to get, and that.
You hear the latest that Jeff Epstein is alive. Jeff Epstein's at Gitmo, and he's been spilling his guts about everybody.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you that in the same breath that I believe that it's equally plausible that it's not at all. There's three scenarios. The guards actually left, and Epstein killed himself. That's one. Thanks for playing. The guards left, and the Clintons et al. Had Epstein killed. That's a pretty plausible situation right there. Equally plausible. Let's tell the world he's dead, take him to Gitmo, dope him up, and download him. And
witness protection happens all the time.
He's got his own island. Just go over there, and by the time he gets there, everybody will be 18. I mean, it's a win-win. I'm telling you. It's plausible that the guy's still alive and the whole thing was a big smokescreen.
So.
You think he's dead?
But it brings up another question. how quietly do you think this Ghislaine Maxwell stuff will
Sure.
kind of go
Go
away
away.
now
Oh,
that
Biden's president? Just go away.
now the Democrats are in control of
No justice, no
Chambers.
peace. Oh, wait, the Democrats are in? Total harmony, man. It's all good. Smoke some dope. Give me your guns.
Richard King says, I want to know how they're going to spin Donald Trump's speech yesterday. Well, basically, they're ignoring it, Richard, right off the bat. I mean, you're not going to find it. He submitted a statement to Fox News. Fox News put it out, but when I looked at other media sources covering it, they took snippets of it. They didn't give it much, and that was yesterday afternoon, late, early evening when I was eating dinner, when I saw that he had given this or made this statement. But other media outlets other than Fox chopped it up, took bits and pieces, didn't really show it in its entirety.
Well, they lead it with like President Trump, who incited a violent and deadly riot at the Capitol last week, was in Texas today talking about the ill-fated wall that wasn't paid for by Mexico. I mean, that's the headlines.
Listen to this
irony
headline.
Lost on you, though? T-Lap pointed out to me, deep thinker that she chooses to be, because it just went right over my head. He's in Texas, in a city called Alamo, kind of making a stand. Is the irony of the historical significance lost on you that the Texans made a stand against huge numbers of opposition at the Alamo? Now we know they lost. Try not to stretch the
analogy too far. Yeah.
But interesting.
Here's a story on the Texas Tribune. President Trump, and this is prior to his visit to the Rio Grande Valley. President Trump was preparing to visit the Rio Grande Valley on Tuesday in the midst of planned impeachment proceedings following a violent week at the U.S. Capitol. So it's gone from one day.
It was like 2 hours that had some violence. Now it's a violent week.
Yeah, now it's a violent week, according to the Texas Tribune.
Liberty under siege, the Capitol. Death and destruction in Washington. Tune in next.
So,
is that crazy?
It is.
Peter McNally, good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Lisa Poole checking in.
T-Lat says diversity at its best.
Marjorie Green, Randy Langston says, is the name of the representative from Georgia, I believe.
Georgia?
Yeah. BJ Nelson says it's a great way for them to waste time. However, every day that 1/17th session is in session is one day less than the 1/17th session is in session.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen's your go-to tow too. We've talked about it. Towing is an expensive business. If you have a big rig, you need somebody that can handle your load without trying to topple a trailer. Damage mitigation is a big part of what Allen's does. That's why they have a 75-ton crane, biggest in the region. Got to go to Houston to find this thing. That can just pick it up and put it back on the road.
You know what's really cool is they don't need slide rules and graphing calculators.
Allen is a supercomputer.
Experience and understanding angles and different things that can impact. It's amazing to watch them extract vehicles out of situations that engineers probably couldn't figure out how to do it.
And Allen and Little Allen are like 50-50 mental partners as long as they agree. If they disagree, they go with the old man. And Little Allen will tell you, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but my dad's way is usually pretty good.
It is pretty good.
They do a great job.
And they can do a great job for you.
The key point for you is if you won't go, they can get it over to Atzenhofer for you. Speaking of Atzenhofer, since 1926, the Atzenhofer dealerships have been Victoria's dealership. Started out with Chevys. Was Chevys for a long time. GM said, hey, can you help us out with Cadillac? Sure. Mazda, Mitsubishi, they round out. They've got everything from the starter car to the new Cadillac Escalade.
The last car you'll ever buy.
That's right. The last house you will ever buy could be a Cadillac from Atzenhofer. Instead of a condo in Port O'Connor, just buy a Cadillac instead.
and sleep on the beach.
There you have it. It's more romantic, a little gritty. Service,
But when you don't like the view, you can pack up and
you can
move.
always move. Service, everything. Sales, they do it all.
I would
Used
love to
cars,
see them
free
service
cars.
a Yugo. I bet you brought that thing in there, they'd laugh.
Couldn't find a part. Chesnick Furniture Company, 101 years at 116 West One Lynn.
You're
70
fake.
there. I was like just jumping forward 15 years. But they have beautiful furniture, beautiful accoutrement. They also have washers, dryers, bedding. They have Tempur-Pedic bedding. Don't let anybody tell you there's like some exclusive in town on Tempur-Pedic bedding. They've got it. They'll make you deals. They'll deliver it today. You just do better at Chestnut. Bobby Leon and his family have been there so long. We say easily, Chestnut and Love make your house a home. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only local owner authorized AT&T retailer. The VCS companies are just our banner sponsor. They, to me, are the epitome of just doing it right the first time. Quality before profit. Relationships before volume.
Yeah.
They're local, they're family, they're Victoria business, they're Victorians. Jim Hartman was a banker here. Jennifer Hartman said, you know what? I think I'm going to buy this radio company.
Yeah.
They were doing ranch radios, Ash. Next thing you know, they got phones, surveillance.
Well,
surround
they
sound,
understood this.
did it
I
all.
mean, we moved here about the time the cell phone started becoming somewhat more accessible than a big bag phone that only people, in construction companies
right.
and others carried around, radio folks, because that's how we started doing remotes and
Because
things
in
like that.
Victoria, if you were on the second floor, you didn't want to have to come all the way down to answer that phone in your truck. Remember when the truck used to honk at you when the phone was ringing?
Yeah.
My battery would go dead.
But they had the foresight to go, this might stick around for a while. And they built a great business also around cell phones and accessories. And they have the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer as a result.
And they do so much work with our local law enforcement and first responders where they are the radio and communications of choice in these civic vehicles, in these, police and fire trucks and all that. But they also have what's it called?
FirstNet.
FirstNet.
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Yeah.
Cell network for first responders.
Get by and get that. It's a open line for you in the middle of chaos. And I think now's a good time to have it.
James Kerr says this nation is a drunk sailor politically.
Coming from an army man, that's not a compliment. Yeah, Justin the Iceman says, hey, it's a Nancy administration, not a Biden-Harris administration. What about Nancy? What about Nancy, just being 80 and being 80 is not bad. An octogenarian could know a lot. She seems to have quit learning. Very interesting on her. Randy Langston says Biden leaves on a medical removal in 7 months. That's his call. Joe Biden, to me, Joe was always kind of frat boy handsome. I mean, he just kind of looked like the guy that could be like Bill Clinton's wingman, where they could be somewhere and somebody would say to Bill, hey, who's your buddy? Oh, that's Joe. He's cool. Kind of had, plugs, but he kind of had the cool hair, and he was always, the blue button down, but no tie. Hey, I'm just Joe, man. I'm just a guy like you. I'm a regular Joe. But now he's starting to look really kind of
Never had a
gaunt. Don't you think he looks bad? I'm not trying to belittle him. I'm saying, doesn't he look unhealthy to you?
No,
Jack, I'll take you out back. You want to do some push-ups?
I don't pay enough attention to his looks. The more concerning to me is the way he can't put together coherent sentences.
We do
for any
radio.
length of time.
Who are we to judge?
It's expected of us.
We do radio and can't do it.
We're not elected officials.
Boy, you said that right. Speaking of, I reached out to a couple of people. We've got a large group of people that want to be on the show. We shield you from some of those folks. But I'm planning on having another local guy here that ran for office, that I look to run for office again one of these days. I'm going to get him on and hear his thoughts about it. Folks, we've got a couple of elections coming up. Our buddy Ross Mansker, not going to run for school board. School board's coming up. Um,
Are there a couple city council seats opening up
I
in
think so.
May?
Why? I want to ask somebody. You got a person like BJ Nelson, great a giver, somebody that's constantly giving back to the community. Why would anybody want to be on the school board? I mean, we have friends on the school board. It's a rhetorical question to a degree, but guys like Brett Baldwin, friend of mine, civic-minded guy,
Well, I think you just answered the question
Yeah.
because they're civic-minded people.
believes he can make a difference. But I mean, he's got a callus. Brett does right here, right in the middle of his forehead, from just banging his head against a wall since joining the school board.
Well, it's interesting to see how politically he gets beat up a little bit simply because he asks questions. I mean that's kind and it's kind of where we are nationally as well. You can't ask questions anymore.
No,
If you do, you're
then you've got to have a motive that's misogynistic, sexist, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, something. I don't even know what xenophobia is.
Randy Langston says, you know why they want impeachment? They want to remove his security detail and all his benefits for the rest of his life. The guy's 76 years old or whatever he is.
And he's the guy that gave his salary away for 4 years.
Well, he played a lot of golf on company dime.
Ugh, at places he owns.
But why would you want to remove the security detail? And I mean, this gets into a rabbit hole.
Let's get him killed.
But that's where I'm going. Why would you? I mean,
let's give him.
But seriously, but I mean, but I've often questioned this. Do our former presidents really need lifelong security details?
No.
Nobody cares. I mean, they go run the speaker circuit. I mean, that to me is a country's ego on display. I don't know that any other country does that for any other leader except maybe despots in third world.
The only person
former dictators.
The only person that would want to kill someone like Bill Clinton would be a disgruntled lover in Arkansas. They've got no power.
And you know that one's going to be seen a mile away. Yeah, Bill Clinton, I'm going to get you.
Right, absolutely. Can you imagine the Secret Service following Jimmy Carter around from Habitat for Humanity house to Habitat for Humanity home?
Yeah.
I mean,
what are they going to do? Kill him with a nail gun?
Right.
Peter McNally asked, will he get the 2/3 vote in the Senate? I doubt it.
I doubt it. But, Peter, the shame is there. And I mean, politics aside, do you think this is a good thing for the country? If you were running on the idea of I want to heal and move forward, why doesn't Joe Biden? What would it hurt if Joe Biden stepped up as president-elect and made a statement along the lines of, I respect the House and the Senate. They don't answer to the executive branch. They have their call to duty. Godspeed to them. However, no matter what happens, my goal is to heal this nation. My goal is to embrace the future. My goal is to move forward with a new administration based on the people. Yada, yada, yada. Why wouldn't Joe Biden say something along those lines, except that I think he's just relishing this, he's relishing this hate. And out of one side of his mouth while he talks about peace out of the other. TLAT said something about them hating, that they're talking about a week of violence. That's terrible. What was it? Well, I guess it was almost 6 months of violence in Portland and Seattle.
Matt Boucher, good morning to you. Who else is in? Gaelic Goff. Don Nicole says timestamps are off too. That deadly week.
Yeah.
Tom Price, good morning.
Don makes a great point that, the Capitol gates, the Capitol barricades were breached a full 20 minutes before Trump got around to saying, now let's walk down to the Capitol and peacefully let them hear our voice. I mean, he emphasized peacefully.
I mean, what have they made in a week? 70 arrests?
Yeah.
There was, depending on the estimates, from 100,000 to 1 million people were in Washington, D.C.
There were way over 100,000.
Those are the estimates that, that I have seen. I'm not an estimator. I'm not going to get into that. But even 70 out of 100,000 is nothing.
I saw a picture on Twitter. Yeah, I'm sorry. I still went and looked. and there was a girl named Jenna somebody, and she had her little Trump toque on, and she was standing by one of the windows of the Capitol that those guys were trying to break. And you remember in the top right, the guy was hitting it, and it cracked, but it didn't break. And she was standing there pointing at it. And on Twitter, she said, sorry I wasn't at work this week. I was breaking into the Capitol or something. It was tongue in cheek, And this person took that and requoted it. Her name is Jenna so-and-so. She works for Remax in such and such, Newton, Kansas, blah, blah, blah. Let's get her. This cancel culture deal just exposes a bunch of weak people. I just don't get it. Yeah,
I don't either.
A bunch of weaklings get together and want to cancel people. It happens everywhere. It happens here.
It's bullying behavior. The anti-bullies become the bullies.
Absolutely. They don't win unless you let them. I invite them in. Come on in. Come over and have a cookie.
Patrick Strauss, good morning to you.
By the time they eat the cookie, they get put to sleep.
Sheriff Lauterbach's checking in. Chris Conrad, good morning.
Nice point. Good morning, Bob Constantine.
Greg Garcia.
Yeah.
Simpy, good morning to you.
Pete said, hey, new Escalade's $100,000. Sure is.
Mike Bloschke, we're catching up here, folks. See who else is in.
James Kerr says that Joe Biden could be Bill's wingman at a strip club. I thought the strip club was a given.
Peter McNally says lifelong stuttering problem for Joe Biden. That's not the issue.
He didn't stutter, Pete, when he stood there and said that he went to college on a full scholarship and graduated in the top half of his law class, when in reality he didn't have a scholarship and graduated like 76 or something, or 89.
He didn't have a stuttering problem when he was plagiarizing political speeches from England.
Well, what they thought when he plagiarized like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, they said that's hip hop Joe Biden. They thought he was just being a hip hop guy. I have a dream.
Didn't have a stuttering problem when he was talking about kids rubbing his legs.
Wade and Carter makes fun of speech impediment.
That's a different problem.
Wade and Carter insensitive about speech impediment.
Not at all. Terry Murray says liberals want us to heal. H-E-E-L, not heal.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No, BJ Nelson said that about the school board.
Open in certain areas, not in hers, but if interested in running, please contact her. They're looking for conservative, civic-minded men or women who want to serve. At the end of the day, serving makes your life rich.
There's no doubt about it. I'll tell you what's interesting, though, is, while it is even less it's more thankless, it's whatever. You get less respect for being on the school board than you do the city council. The school board handles twice as much money. Twice as much money. It's the biggest tax burden in the world.
At least our world.
Right now it is. Yeah. But now the federal government's going to take all that money and then turn. Whoa. Go back. Can you screenshot that? Peter McNally. I agree with Brent. Dogs and cats playing together. What the heck? Peter McNally, that means you must be correct today, sir. God bless you and welcome home. That's good stuff.
Cody Sugar says Biden's administration is not for the people.
But wouldn't you think that an incoming president who's run on a platform of healing, wouldn't he issue a statement, even if he didn't make a speech, and just say, look, in light of what's going on in Washington, we were all troubled by what happened at the Capitol. I applaud my colleagues in Congress, where I served for 4 decades. I applaud them for reaching across the aisle. Many voting against stereotype to impeach this president. However, no matter what the Senate does, we must look forward. We must look to a peaceful transition of power and the return of this country to credibility with the world. I mean, I'm just making that up, and it sounds better than Biden's crickets. He says nothing, and he won't say anything, folks. Where is his presidential nature?
This is the party that criticized President Trump for having a parade on Memorial Day, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it
was going to be a waste of money.
And bringing all that military equipment and all the way down to those tanks are going to tear up the streets of D.C. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to tell you how the United States government could save, at a minimum, $100 million. White Trash Services, 550-1826. 550-1826. Reach out to BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, and the folks at White Trash Services. They will make you have a trash-tastic day. I went by there yesterday. I didn't tell you this. I did. Visited with those folks. There is an atmosphere of expectation and success and service in their office that they just, honest to goodness, it reminds me of what it must be like, honestly, to be on the coaching floor at Nick Saban's office. What are we going to do today to make our business better, to make our customer service better? The folks at White Trash have that atmosphere from the minute you walk in the door.
I'm not sure they could do anything to make their customer service better, because when you call or walk in, you're always greeted cheerfully.
Right? And would you like a cup of coffee? Would you like a bottle of water? No. I said, I came to steal some stuff. I came to steal a pen. They'll give you a pen.
Yeah, they've got lots.
Reach out to Razor IT Solutions. I talked to JP Hull yesterday. JP actually called to make sure that I knew that he was just razzing me. I said, JP, when you call, it's the greatest call in our show. It's fantastic. I love it. Razor IT Solutions, he did confirm.
Speaking of which, hang on, caller.
Yes, please, caller. Hang on just a second. He did confirm that there is a ramping up of internet chatter of countries like China, India, Russia, trying to break into your website, get your data, hold you hostage. Reach out to Razor IT Solutions for ways to solve that.
Let me give you a warning, because I got an email yesterday that came from somebody that appeared to be in the military asking for delivery addresses so that they can confirm delivery of some stuff, and as a result, you'll get millions of dollars. So now they're trying to pull on the military heartstrings of folks,
right,
and those who appreciate our military, to scam you out of your personal information, which probably means they're going to try to either, get a loan out of you or use your name somehow, identity, whatever. Yeah. So that's how they're now bringing the military into their Nigerian bank scams.
You don't even have to give your identity to go to Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Chicken, ribs, sausage, brisket, turkey, you get it all. Cabbage, pinto beans, green beans, shrimp etouffee, boiled shrimp, fried corn. Oh, they do have fried corn.
Uncle Mutt's rice.
Yeah. Uncle Mutt's rice is world famous and delectable. And, of course, get the Wade and Carter peach salad. Tell them Brent sent you.
That's for the Wade and Carter discount.
We'll get to that $100 million savings in just a moment. Let's get to the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the Wade and Carter program. How can we help you today?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Who's got our vote for what? Oh, we're negative. Okay, how are we negative, ma'am? How are we negative, ma'am? Help me. It's your program.
No, he's not. He's not the president until Monday.
Not until the 21st.
Or whatever, Monday, Tuesday, whenever it is.
We do. Well, we're going to talk about Joe Biden, man, for the next 4 years. Who, man? Give me an example. Oh. No, you're right. If you were me, you wouldn't be on the radio. You're right.
There's no making fun of a speech impediment, making fun of the fact that he can't put together coherent thoughts.
Yeah. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not negative. Well, I mean, would you like to talk sports?
Would you like to talk sports? How about them Dallas Cowboys, ma'am? How about them Dallas Cowboys?
Yes, ma'am. You sure are negative to be so pretty. I don't know why she was so negative.
I don't know why she's so
Trump's
negative
a
either.
loser. We're rude. Hey, I don't care what you call us as long as you call us. I mean that. It's fine. I have no anger towards that lady at all. She does not get me riled up. I like when these callers call. So often they just expose themselves as part of the cancel culture that hate people. And I'll tell you something. We've been blessed here at Magic. For every person like that, for every upset leftist Hispanic woman that calls here, I've had a dozen of my Hispanic friends, new friends, come up and say, thank you. We love the show. And I'll take it again if there's another one. Go ahead, ma'am. Who's here? Well, I'm speechless. The thing that upsets me is I don't like it. I didn't say anything negative to her at all. I encouraged her to talk about anything she wanted to talk about. But I find it interesting when people want to paint with such a broad brush. Y'all are always so negative. Nobody wants Trump. Y'all are always so negative. And then we went out of our way to say, hey, there's no slam to people's speech impediments. We're making fun of Joe Biden, who's a hugely public figure, global public figure. And then yeah, y'all are making fun of people with speech impediment. No, ma'am, we're not. In fact, we pointed out that we weren't doing that. No, it's all about feelings. Right. Absolutely. And these are the same people. These are the same people as they talk about, oh, you're making fun of Biden having a speech impediment, which, by the way, he's conquered and done a good job of. Most of our listeners didn't know he had one. These are the exact same people that call Trump Orange Man.
Cheeto.
The same people.
The orange orangutan.
That's right. So the hypocrisy. Right. No. The one thing she said that was right, she did say, if I were you, I wouldn't be on the radio. and she is
pretty
correct.
Astute.
She's absolutely correct. And she did say we do good commercials,
Thank you,
though. She said we do good commercials. We got that going for us. Good morning, Jim Hartman. How about, here's a way that the government can save $100 million. Here's another free tidbit just to help Joe Biden. I found it interesting that 20,000 National Guard troops had been called up. So I did a little research. It's not an uncommon number. There were a lot of troops brought in when Trump was inaugurated. There were a lot of troops brought in for Obama's inaugurations. Okay. Yeah. So that hysteria, the ability to say 20,000 troops had to be brought in because of the violent week that Trump incited.
And it started when he enacted that emergency declaration for Washington, D.C. last week to help out.
So they have to use their cops.
Which I understand has been declared for a number of inauguration days going back for a number of years. But you would think if you watched MSNBC and CNN, this is the only time it's ever been done.
It's just not. It's happened for the last umpteen, my grandmother would say, umpteen elections. The thought is if Biden wants to heal, if Biden wants to move forward, he's been there 48 years. He was integral to the Obama administration for 8 of those years, lived in and amongst the White House, basically.
Went through 2 inaugurations as the second in command.
Go get inaugurated in the Oval Office and go to work. Why not just say, folks, Jill and I don't need to have let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's save some money for this country. Let's give this $100 million to help people that need small business help, and let's just get to work. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work for the American people. But no, he's earned it. His third time was a charm, and now he deserves to have all this pomp and circumstance. Okay, $100 million it's going to cost the American people.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to be upset.
No, and we're wasting a whole bunch more on the impeachment. And we've got. Why isn't Congress, and don't get into the states' rights stuff here, but I mean, if Congress was serious about helping the American people right now, they'd be looking into reasons why New York is throwing away vaccines and can't distribute them to the people that need them. They've been looking into why there's about 1 million doses of the vaccine sitting in Florida unadministered at this point.
Did you stutter?
No, I couldn't think of the word.
I don't want to make fun of you.
No.
That, by the way, that little deal right there, that little discourse, it's taught me a lot. That's why I specifically, and a guy like me, can't get elected. There are too many people with that lady's mindset who needs to really like their candidate and relate to their candidate and believe that, and be naive enough to believe that that person really cares about them individually. And there's no chance. A guy that has a fresh idea and a commitment to getting things done, a guy who realizes that sometimes you have to upset some people to get things done, nah, there's no place for that guy, which is why nothing gets done. I mean, look around. Closer than we've ever been. Oh, yeah, any day now. It's coming. Boy, if you knew the people we were talking to, pretty soon we're going to have some. I would tell some of these businesses, you need to either poop or get off the pot. We got work to do in Victoria, Texas. Nah, that might upset somebody. Can't do that. So here we are in Sinton East. Although Sinton's got a new plant coming in. You wait. We used to laugh at Cuero. Hide and watch, folks. Hide and watch.
With what's going on at the port in Calhoun County, I think Port Lavaca is on the verge of becoming a pretty big
Port
boom.
Lavaca is going to blow up in a good way.
Yeah, no, in a really good way.
You bet. When they build their new schools, with new tax revenue from growth in their community, and we're over here haggling over a $150 million bond to rejuvenate a bunch of rundown properties, you'll start to feel it when your taxes go up. It's coming. It's coming.
Speaking of coming, there's the brother man in the house.
Hello, brother man.
So why isn't Congress looking into why the federal government obviously able to get vaccines to the states, and the states have not been able to get them where they need to go? Why are we sitting there waiting?
Chris Conrad said that it was the drunk lady.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I think it was just another lady. I think that's great. Justice Rotowski says best call ever. Yeah. Somebody did say, look, it's that drunk lady again. No, I don't think so. I don't think
no, that was the same lady.
Was it the same lady?
Yeah. Scott Tomko says you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
I don't think she was drunk. You guys are being hard on her. And what's weird is, here I am. She wants to attack me and you, and I'm defending her.
Yeah.
But I'm the bad guy.
You're the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. I'm like, no, she's entitled to her opinion, and I don't even expect to change it. I applaud her for having the chutzpah to pick up the phone and call us and go, I don't like y'all. Good.
Yeah, at least she did it somewhat to our face as opposed to behind our backs.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, there's a handful that have much less authority than her. T-Lad said it's the same lady. No, and it's not. It's not who you thought that was. No, I've actually talked to that person, and she talks much slower due to a brain impediment.
H.R. Mallory says, I don't like Donald Trump as a person, but he's a far superior candidate, POTUS, than Biden or Clinton. And the fact things got done, things didn't get done under Donald Trump that every administration since FDR had done. We didn't get into any new wars.
Nope.
We didn't manufacture crises to put troops into places we didn't need to be under Donald Trump. In fact, he tried hard to bring Trump's home.
Restructured NAFTA, made our NATO partners. People laugh because, like Merkel, the lady, the chancellor, if you will, I guess, of Germany, that she got her feathers ruffled when Donald Trump said, hey, people are going to start paying their own fair share of NATO. We're tired of defending the world. And she got upset a little bit, and people got mad at our president about that. You've upset the chancellor of Germany. Well, guess what? They had to break open their checkbook a little bit and pay their fair share.
Well, and guess what? She also didn't hate the man so much that she came to his defense when Twitter banned him.
Well, she knows. She has a
history.
She
understands her country's history.
Exactly. Germany being
you know,
folks, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're not concerned about the oppression of free speech, the idea that if you don't agree with it, that it's got to go, that's a problem in this country.
Well, that is the problem in this country right now, because nobody wants to talk it out.
Well, the left can't, because there's nothing to back up except the way they feel.
They can't talk it out. But they don't. They would rather just talk and then cancel your ability to rebut or to have a voice as well. That's where we are right now in this country. Is civil discourse and competing ideas or differing ideas have no place in the Democrat Party and their view in the world. They want a giant echo chamber,
I agree.
And that's all.
I agree. I mean, if you're really somebody who really feels like the Green New Deal is a good deal, I mean, just go read it all again. Go read it all again. Quit falling for it, people. Anytime somebody says, hey, I'm with the government, I'm here to help, your antenna should go up. Hey, I'm here with your future tax dollars to give a portion of them back to you.
We just elected, careful, people. This country elected a president who has 1.5 billion ties to China through his son.
No doubt.
We've elected a president who, in his previous administration, was sympathetic to China at best. Kowtowed probably is a more apt description with the previous administration, because it was the previous administration that did not allow our diplomats to have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, which just happens to be a democratic country that China wants dearly to overtake.
Well, look at China, though, Ash.
And this is a country that lied to the world about the vaccine. Then they lied to the world about the efficacy of their they lied to the world about the virus. Then they lied to the world about the efficacy of the vaccine they created. They were telling countries, this vaccine is 90% effective. And then they sold it to countries like Singapore and Indonesia.
Effective.
There's a report this morning that shows, at best, the Chinese Communist Party-controlled pharmaceutical company manufactured vaccine is 50% effective. They told the world this vaccine was 90% effective and then sold it to a bunch of countries. And it's not even going to protect half the people that they said it was going to protect.
And it's the same people who promised autonomy to Hong Kong until 2047 and then just recently took them over very quietly. The U.S. media didn't make a big deal about the fact that they just took them over because it's counter to Biden. I mean, the Chinese just took over Hong Kong. There's no more freedom there. It's a mess.
Jenna West says if it wasn't common practice to identify by your political party affiliation rather than who you are as a person, we would be in much better shape as a country.
Absolutely. If we had country first, party second, or party more like fourth, maybe God first, country second, and somebody else what party you are. I'll tell you this. I'll make this statement now, and I know that this will rankle a couple of my friends. I'm not going to identify myself going forward as a Republican. I'm not. I'm not going to say that I'm not a registered card carrying Republican anyway. I'm a conservative, employed Christian white guy who's married to a woman. So I'm already the scourge of the earth. I'm the worst human being on the planet. A
Don't
white
be so
guy,
hard on
a
yourself.
white guy who believes in God, who's married to one woman. I mean, you're a dinosaur, man. You're a throwback. Here, have some weed. Meet us in Colorado.
I've never voted straight ticket.
I have not either, and I'm not going to be. I'm with James Kurth. I'm a conservative American, and if the Republican Party can't lure me back, it's going to be a problem. Now if Donald Trump starts a party,
I don't think he will.
I agree.
But I do think he might start a media company.
I think so too. And I don't. My mom sits up there and watches that Fox garbage all day. Folks, it's entertainment. Sean Hannity is an entertainer, just like me and Ash, 100%. Then you watch.
Well, not quite just like.
Well, he makes a couple more zeros, 3 zeros after his income, but
He's got a lot more zeros.
But on the other side, CNN and MSNBC, they pander to people like that caller that just called. I mean, it's interesting. All their commercials are for alcohol. I don't understand, but they all call. If Trump comes out with this extreme right wing, I mean, what's it going to be? The Rebellion channel. I mean, I don't know how much of that I'll watch either.
I don't watch much of it now. To be
Real
honest.
quick, the Gray Barn, 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl for your next party needs. If you want to have a great time at your party. Why is it that the guy that pays for the party is the one that enjoys it the least? You can ask the Nelsons. They had Cheryl come out and decorate for a birthday party, and they had a blast. They walked in. They were overwhelmed at how gorgeous everything was, and Cheryl took some of their ideas and made it a beautiful, festive environment. 920-6803.
That's why, because you always worry if everybody's going to like the decor. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Wind services, right now is a great time to get a generator, whole house generator. Gas, diesel, propane,
Cummins,
it's all good to go.
Briggs and Stratton, Kohler, they got them all.
Generac, made in America. It's all good to go. And you can couple that, if you want to do a whole house program, solar panels, coming back into a battery backup, you, in theory, could basically pull yourself off the grid.
You can sell power back to your power.
No doubt. Reach out to Wind Services and let them tell you how. USA Concrete Coatings. I always picture, when I say concrete coatings, I picture a garage floor that they turn into a show place. Got that pretty car. You want your wife to get out and not walk on an oily concrete floor. You can
fix the oil leak.
You can do that. First of all, that's an offer. But the other thing you can do is have them come in, clean the floor, seal the cracks, put down a tough polyurethane finish. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial. It won't absorb oils and lubricants, and it's easily cleaned.
But it's so much more than that. They can do.
Wait.
Yeah, but wait.
Concrete coatings.
You can make a boat. You could make a boat out of it with a screen door.
That's right. Basomatic. No, but they'll do porches, patios, sidewalks, pool decks. The pool deck idea is great too.
Industrial floors, they can do that as well. And I wouldn't, if you've got a home with an industrial theme, might be the way to go.
BJ Nelson, James Kerr says, hey, BJ, mainstream media is about as true as ancient aliens. Well, of course, everybody knows aliens are new. They're not ancient.
Nope.
So speaking of ancient, joined today by the brother man himself. He knows some old folks.
I got 1 minute, Ralph says.
Right.
I got 1 minute.
And nobody has complained about our sound this morning. I think we might have gotten lucky.
Shh, don't. You just jinxed it.
It could be. Hi, Captain.
I got 1 minute, 2 hours.
Tell us.
1 minute, 2
Right.
hours.
Tell us what's happening, brother man.
Real quick, 2 events, guys. Victoria Girls softball registration. We got to get those kids back on the field. It's this Saturday and next Saturday. Peter Piper's Pizza from 11 to 3. Got one for the veterans too. Coffee and donuts with the veterans. VFW just started this yesterday. Coffee and donuts with the veterans from 8:30 to 10, free every Wednesday morning.
I wondered where all the
Where's that
police
at?
were.
VFW Hall.
Okay.
VFW Hall. So that's 2 quick events right there, and we're covering our people. You know what?
Fantastic.
And veterans. Right?
Did you happen to watch the Longhorn basketball game last night?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, they get beat by Tech. But exciting game. The Big 12 is clearly, I think, the leading conference in basketball this year. With Baylor,
Tech is tough at
Texas
home.
Tech.
They're tough at home.
Yeah, but they ended up beating
Oklahoma
Texas
State's
in
pretty sharp.
Austin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some good teams.
Kansas.
West Virginia, Kansas.
I got a good one here.
Texas got beat, but that's okay.
Well, that's our second loss.
Sure. Yeah,
Don't have
10
too
and
many
2.
more of those, though.
No, they're still looking. I mean, they're number 4. They'll drop to number 6. It'll still be a top 10 team. It should be.
Top 10.
And Texas Tech was I think 14, 13,
Yeah,
14.
and they were rated higher than that at the beginning
Sure.
of the season.
They're really good.
You hear this one. Bill O'Brien, now the offensive coordinator at Alabama. How about that? He's gonna make over $2 million.
You know what makes that a good call is that he's a guy that can talk to these young men about what the NFL wants to see out of them. When a wide receiver, not
Pretty
that
good.
Alabama needs it, but to take a former NFL head coach and let him say, today we're going to work on your route running footwork. Here's what is his name, DeAndre Hopkins? Here's what DeAndre Hopkins used to do.
And he can, from experience.
Yes, sir. I think it'll help a lot.
Well, I like that.
And Nick Saban hasn't hired many duds in his
No,
career
he's
at Alabama, has he?
Top 6 teams, boys. Top 6 teams for NCAA football next year. You'll like this. And their top recruit, or their breakout guy. I'm just going to do 2 of those.
Alabama.
Clemson 1, Alabama 2, Oklahoma 3, Georgia 4, Ohio State 5, and Texas A&M 6.
There you go. Congratulations, Aggies.
There you go. 6.
Who was 5?
5 is Ohio State.
Who was 4?
4 is Georgia. 3 Oklahoma. Alabama 2 and Clemson 1.
So Clemson, what they're doing is throwing a emotional bone to that backup quarterback that had such a nice night, right?
Yeah.
And they featured him. Breakout guy for A&M. Last 2 things I'll say. We'll get Ralph in.
Leal.
Texas A&M running back. They say their breakout player.
Oh,
Texas A&M breakout player. Devon Achane. Achane. A-C-H-A-N-E. That's going to be their breakout guy running back.
yeah, they can call it A-Chain.
It's okay.
That's it.
And Texas, which was picked 21.
There you go.
21.
Overrated.
Running back, their breakout player, Bijan Robinson.
Sure. Yeah, he had a great year this year.
There you go, a little bit, boys. And
Well, before you run though, we got to get through the NFL
yeah.
games.
He
For the
saves
weekend.
all the good
I
stuff
know.
for Ralph.
Saturday, Rams and Packers in Green Bay.
It's got to be the Packers.
Ravens at the Bills.
ooh, that's a tough one.
But I'm
Ravens are
liking
playing good.
Buffalo, I think. The Ravens are good, but they're at Buffalo in
They're
the
at Buffalo.
snow.
Okay.
It snows in Baltimore.
Where you?
Buffalo has the juice.
Packers.
That's a toss-up, Bills and Ravens. That's a toss-up.
I can flip a coin, but I'll take home field
That
advantage.
Joe
Bills.
Flacco.
Let's go Bills, boy.
Yep.
Bills.
Browns and Chiefs on Sunday.
Big time Chiefs.
Chiefs win that one,
Chiefs
and then the
win
other
that.
game.
Browns are done.
What's
Bucks.
the spread on that game? Get a spread on that game?
Yeah, it's Kansas City 10-point favorites.
Oh, see, that's just enough to make me want to take the Browns.
Yeah, but they're not going to win. They might cover.
They might
Right.
cover, but
No, I agree.
We go the win.
Buccaneers and Saints. Saints are 3-point
Saints.
favorites in
Saints
New
win it.
Orleans. I think the
Saints
Saints win it.
Saints win it. But I wouldn't be upset if Bucks won.
No, I wouldn't either, but I think it's just Drew Brees, home game, 6 fans in the stands. I look for New Orleans to win that one.
All right, we go there.
All right, folks.
All right, boys.
Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate it, guys.
Folks, stay tuned. The Hall of Famer, Ralph Salazar, he'll be in here, and then maybe that lady will call back. Should you talk to them?
Maybe.
Roy, Gary, those guys are so rude. It'll
God
be
bless you.
great.
God
Hey,
bless you.